Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. I'm Michelle Carlson, the Acting Executive Director of the Lansing Art Gallery and Education Center. And today we are here with Katrina Daniels, our Exhibitions and Retail Gallery Director, and I, Yamamoto, who is our guest artist today. So Katrina and I will have a nice conversation. If you have specific questions, you feel free to add them to the chat, and we'll just also have time at the end to ask questions. So thank you, I, for being here. And Katrina, go ahead.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Welcome, everyone, to our Brown Bag Artist Talk series. I'm delighted to introduce you to Ai Yamamoto. Ai has been showing with us with her beautiful pottery pieces in our retail gallery and also our holiday show for a number of seasons. Ai, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm glad everyone came for me, and then even people from far away. And thank you for you, Katrina and Michelle and other Sarah, all Lansing Art Gallery members doing all the hard work, promoting, have a beautiful exhibitions all the time. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ai, it looks like you're in your studio right now. Is that correct?
Yes, I am sitting in my garage studio. So we have two car garages. One side is my studio, so I have to park my car outside. But that's okay. So I have beautiful windows, and they all clusters of clay. And I have spray booths in the back, kilns, and my wheel. I have a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm working here every day. And in the back is my bisque work that I fired. Yeah. So.
Oh, this is such a treat to be able to see your studio.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I have some questions to ask you, Ai, that I know Michelle had sent over.
Okay.
Can you tell us when you first became interested in art?
Okay. Since I was a child, I was always sort of like good at making things. If there is a sewing class in elementary school, I could sew with no problem. Like if some people couldn't go the straight stitches, that was nothing problem to me. Or in Japan, traditionally, in the kindergarten, you start folding papers and you make cranes. I don't know if you know the President Obama made the crane paper folding, brought it to Hiroshima, which is where I'm from. Those intricate, very tedious paper folding that we kind of have it in our culture. And also, any sewing class or school gives you wood carving, plaster making, painting, so many art opportunities, and I always enjoyed it. So, so that's from what I was probably born with it.
So in Japan, it sounds like you're exposed to art at a very young age.
Yes, and then I wanted to add, I brought the example when any peoples who live in Japan, for example, this is like a wooden work that you put the snacks or sweets inside. This belongs to my grandma. Or you have luncheon mat, is those textiles, and pottery, that the rice bowls are from the kiln site. You can find from like thousands of selection that you can buy from stores. So I was surrounding all those very lovely porcelains, not porcelain, ceramics ware in my life. And I think that I get always fond of like how beautiful they are. And the style never changes, colorful. So I took that into my art.
Oh, that is so inspiring. I love imagining these little ones, you know, like making and sort of being trusted with these intricate shapes and thinking through. Sometimes when we think about little children, we think that they're they have maybe less attention spans, but it sounds like, you went to a school where they were allowed to explore and try these different art forms. I love hearing that.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about what inspires your work?
It kind of relate to the previous questions that
Mhm.
I show. Then
Sure.
that's also if all total about what I do ceramics. So I loved using like hard ceramics to wear. Some people gives plastic wear to children so that they don't break. But when I grew up, my family served us with porcelain ware that you have to behave, already know how to treat good, otherwise it will break. If you drop onto the floor, it breaks, shatters. Then next time when you get your own bowl, you will treasure it. Like you know how to take care of it and carry carefully to the sink so the mother would wash. So the using those colorful pottery, and then Japanese meal uses pretty small size multiple plates to serve. Not like one plate comes for your, like one large salad and one large plate here in America. We have small little rice bowl and then soup, main dish, and side dish, and then little pickles, and then fruits, and they all come from very lovely series of pottery. So I thought I would like to make that. That inspired me a lot. The main reason became a potter. I went to art school, so I could be any art form. You could be sculpture or painter or anything, but I thought I will make pottery too, so that everyone can use it. Yeah, so that's my biggest interest of please use my part, something like that.
Oh, I love that. I taught for a little while, and I worked under a teacher who taught Montessori or Reggio Emilia, and she came from a practice where children, even teeny tiny ones, would have little pottery dishes, and they would help serve themselves and pour their own water into their own cups, and were really given the opportunity to learn to be careful and thoughtful and not live in this sort of very disposable culture of
Yeah,
just paper
sometimes.
plates and things of that nature. And I thought it was so beautiful. I'm hearing some of those same sentiments. And I love that you want us to use your work. You want us to drink from your mugs and eat
Yes,
from,
yes,
from your
yes, just
pottery.
to, yes, please, please use it.
And it's such a beautiful way to be able to experience your art.
Yes, thank you. My friend said by cooking, anyhow cooking, but if
Mhm.
she served into my bowl, immediately kind of what do you call elevate the mood.
Oh, how
Or
lovely.
even sometimes I do, of course I do a to go or delivery food these days.
Mhm.
But if you switch that container into ceramics, then that look like just yeah, that kind of served you better atmosphere and then kind of energy and happy mood to eat than
Mhm.
styrofoam, open up and eat it. So I'd like everyone try just to move that to plates, and that would excite you more. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love this sort of ceremony of that, like um, of just sort of taking time for yourself or your family or whoever you're sharing a meal with. I think it's really beautiful. And your particular pottery has these really beautiful, like intricate designs
Thank you.
on your work. For those who haven't seen it, there's like a raised texture on eyes. Oh yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for,
I have right here that I just made yesterday.
oh,
And
how
you see
beautiful.
the shadow needs to see. Yeah, it's like a cookie icing.
Yeah, it is.
I
It is
yeah
very
yeah.
much.
I always think of a baker to make icings. Yeah.
And how do you do that? How do you make those?
I'll please excuse me a little bit.
Sure, of course.
Okay. Okay, you hear me? So I have
Yeah.
a slip, and this clay is a porcelain clay. And after fire, like porcelain clay become white, very white.
Mhm.
The reason I choose this is I like color, and color shows more vivid on a white surface than other clay bodies like gray or brown. And the same clay and more water and then blend dyeing will be slip. Yeah, it's like a cream cheese, look like that. And I use a squeezer and just to put it in, filled in,
Mhm.
and I squeeze out the drawing onto any work I do. So if it's cups, let's see. This code is short,
Oh,
so
no, it's okay.
I have to remove. So if it's cup like this,
Mhm.
here, I just go, just to write it down like draw, red,
Mhm.
and then I have to wait when one side is wet, and I just leave it until dry so that I can hold the other side and then go
Sure.
back. Yeah, but the most fun I make use is I most happy is this style of surface. I have all large surface that I can fill in. Just
Mhm.
very excited to me, like, okay, I'm gonna draw, the mood and also the feeling, or somebody asked me, so I just go, this is my latest, happiest moment. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I make pottery because I wanna put patterns. It's
That's like your canvas.
weird, yeah, weird obsession I have. Everything I make and then think of, okay, where I put the patterns, then I build. Yeah, so
And at what stage do you put um the slip on the clay before you do the first firing?
yes, yes. This slip is clay too, so that
Right.
it's stick with clay. And when just made the clay, it's too soft. So if wet clay haven't dried yet, and if you add watery clay on it, it's too much water and could collapse the foam,
Mhm.
especially cup or bowl. If it's still wet, then you start doing it. They really collapse. It's funny to see, just bowl. Can't hold the foam with too much water. So I wait until you can touch it and doesn't deform. It's called laser hard
Yes.
stage.
Mhm.
Then I go back the clay and write. And then of course I cannot touch about 2-3 hours.
Sure.
Yeah. And then still, if this is harder and this is too soft, I need to wrap it and leave overnight to make that even moist inside.
Mm,
Yeah. So that's a little tricky part, but slow drying always works with porcelain clay.
gotcha. And do you ever carve or
Yes,
yep.
I
And
do carve. Um, let's see the example. Oh yeah, I found the example. This will be kind of okay, here you go. So I have a lot of pottery have feet, and some people said, don't want to feet, but I said, I like it. But so people ask me pottery without feet. So I thought like, it will be very boring. So I start carving the bottom.
Oh, pretty.
It's just to satisfy my needs of like
Your feet.
little, yeah, little, I
Mhm.
have to do it. So I start carving. This is my second one. I cannot find the first one right now, but yeah. So right, if you throw the ball and wait until hard and flip,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
wait again until hard, and then start carving the bottom.
That's
Then after,
beautiful.
yeah, and after I carve, and I go back and then pat the same slip trading.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then wait for dry, and after just dried, and then go to my electric kiln right there,
Mhm.
and up to 1800 degree Fahrenheit is about 6 hours of firing. It's like my oven. You just start and slowly goes up, and then when you reach to the temperature, it just slow down, and then shut off the kiln there and slowly dries. So
Mm.
if I open the kiln right there, the stress of hot and then cold air will break the work.
Oh,
So
sure.
after fire, you leave the kiln closed 1 or 2 days, depending on the size. My size is very small, so 1 day, so next day is enough to cool down. But some large oval kiln or something, you have to wait like 2 days to cool down. Make sure you can touch the lid, like
Mhm.
you put the hand and okay, I can touch it. And often you open it and still inside is very hot. So it's nice, just close and wait until it's cool down. You can touch the work. So then after bisque fire,
Mhm.
it will be like this. So
Mhm.
that ready for glaze firing.
Now, do you, is the kiln hotter when you're firing with porcelain versus other types of clay? Like, does the
Um,
temperature change depending on the type of clay you're working with?
yes, yes. There's but it, what can I say? If we quickly explain, there is a 3 type of clay firing temperature, which is we call low fire, low temperature clay, low firing, medium firing, and high firing. And porcelain used to be high fire, and
Mhm.
then the reason is why do you change is the clay needs to be mature by firing, and because of the ingredients what you have, so porcelain used to be you have to go more than 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit to body gets mature. So if I could even fire this low fire, little bit like, I don't know, I don't remember low fire temperature. I think 1,900.
Mhm.
I can take the work out of kiln, but the clay is not strong enough. So if I hit something, it could break.
Oh, I see.
So then the temperature, talking about that, easiest example is terracotta. You know the planter, which
Mhm.
is orange or reddish color?
Mhm.
That's called like a lot of clay from south, like North Carolina or I don't know, the other south. It's a lot of iron inside, so it's a red clay,
Mhm.
and that's often low fire clay. And low fire clay is after reach temperature, it's mature, but it can contain a lot of water. So that's why people use for planters.
Mhm.
And I was asked if I make a pottery for planters. Then I said, I'm using only one body of clay, which is porcelain. And porcelain after fire, the water contains really low. So I try to plant my herbs into my porcelain planter.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the pot itself couldn't hold the water so much.
Mm.
So end up you have to give water every day or too dry or too wet or anyway, often plants doesn't do well. So yeah, I tell people like I don't make planters because it doesn't suit for the purpose.
Sure.
And then the one more thing is stoneware. A lot of
Mhm.
people see the clay at the like Potter's Guild or I don't know, even stores. When you flip the cup and then see after fire, is sometimes brown. Even there's a white one too, but a lot of time brown or beige. Those are stoneware, which is like mid-range to high-range clay. And I used to use those too, but then like beginning I explained, I love the color so much. So more base is gray or brown. Of course, you have to force to put stronger color over it. Maybe
Mhm.
pastel or weak color won't show up. So
Right.
because I started my portrait a lot of pastel, like light green, baby blue, baby pink. That time I thought, okay, I'll use the white porcelain to satisfy my glaze result. Yeah.
And that's something for folks who haven't seen I's work in person that I think is really distinctive of your body of work are these just really beautiful colors. And sometimes with pottery, excuse me, we do see more of those earth tones, but I know we have a collection of your work right now where we have these beautiful like sky blues and we have some of these small little dishes that are just this
Yes.
beautiful punch of orange. And it's just delightful. I love seeing those colors in
Oh,
your work.
thank you.
You're welcome. And you thank you for you did such a beautiful explanation, sharing about how you create the textures on your work with the slip. Could you tell us a little bit about your inspiration for those patterns and textures? Where does that come from?
Um, the I have my Bible with me. I want to show. Ta-da! That when I cannot just immediately start, I always flip this Japanese design. And is it the upside down? Could be flipped. Um,
Nope,
this
it's right
one,
side up.
like inside is all icons. So this is what you call clan. Japanese, all family has a clan, like motif, family motif.
Mhm.
And my father has one, my mother has one, which come from the all ancient like generations back. We have those kind of icons come with your family. I don't know, everyone has it, but my father and mother had it. Grandparents carry the same thing. So my mother married with my father. Her kimono had the icons from her family stitched, embroidered, stitched onto the back. And she brought the kimono and married with my father. And then like family and families marries, and then my father's, I think my father's icon win over hers. And I think she cannot use the kimono anymore. I think. I'm not sure. I never asked them like what's going on with the kimono. So because I will take probably my father's side of icons.
Okay.
And I think I heard, like I have some of my Mexican friends, and they said they keep their family names, never go away. So they keep adding your ancestry's name into your name. That's why you see so many Mexican friends. I don't know about Spanish people, but Mexican friend has 3 or 4 last names.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they just uses it. And they said, oh, it's too much, so I use 3. Too much is used 2. And like I thought that's lovely. You just always have families. So instead of us, it's Japanese has a law. You have to have one family name in a registered family, which yeah, I don't want to be political here, but that's the truth. You have to have one. So with that thing, like I have to have one family, my father's side of clan. But that would be great if I can keep 2 or 3 or 4. Mark said, "Oh, this is all from my family." so I see some in this the motif will family clan will have some what do you call there like plans to chop the dragons to I don't know, lot of plants, different type of animals, sometimes seashells too. So I just flipped and decided, okay, I feel like flowery, and then go write it, just to use a reference. Or sometimes I make too much flowery one. So okay, this time I'll try to push for a little bit, not that much. Then yesterday I made this too. Like I want to counterbalance, but not too flowery. So
So pretty.
yeah. So that's those strong. I always have that by my side.
I love that. Now I would do those symbols from the clans, does that change like depending on the region that
I
people are
have a,
from?
I I think so. For example, if I'm not sure. I never studied about clan. I just
Mhm.
have this book, but by um, this is my impression. When people from a small region, they don't have a family name,
Mhm.
but then as government get together, start building one country, I think you are assigned like, oh, you have to have your family name.
Mhm.
And they said like, okay, so my name is Yamamoto, is like a base of a mountain.
Oh.
Probably my family lived near the mountain or inland. And some people have anything with fish or river, seas, or sometimes a rice field or sake maker. It's like some Smith of American or
Mhm.
European way. You
Right.
could tell, oh, did your ancestry made iron or like carpentry? You
Mhm.
could sometimes guess from it. So that's, I think the clan who has seashells inside or the um, like pine trees or the region probably strongly affected when they
Yeah.
build that, when they think about the mark. That's
I
my guessing. I never studied.
Oh, no, 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 yeah, I hope I didn't put you on the spot. I was just, I love that thinking about this sort of visual history of where your family came from is really beautiful to think, oh, at some point, they lived by a mountain um, or near the sea, and then that's incorporated into this symbol is really beautiful. I'm wishing I had something like that from my family.
There's one thing I have funny story about it. Uh, Often when I came to America, they said
Mhm.
Yamamoto. Oh, so you are family member of Amuro Yamamoto from the World War II time. I'm like, oh, hey guys, Yamamoto is like Jones or Smith. It's like that time when I googled my name, like about I don't know 10, 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Yamamoto was the third popular name in Japan.
Oh,
So
wow.
I can't imagine how many billions of people has a Yamamoto last name. So I said, no, I'm not the member. I know he's not my uncle or grandparents. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, I love that. I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that if anyone has any questions, that they can put it in the chat. Michelle did put a link for some of I's work in the chat. If you wanted to click on that link, you can have some visuals. And then Lena said that your mugs have the best feet on them, I.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, I have it here. I cannot flip right now. It's in there. So, but yeah, I like putting a feet. I imagine the pots have their own will start walking around. That's just when I put it on. Yeah, it's enough, cute that you can, okay, go ahead wherever you want to go. And also, little relate to that. Whoever, find like this pottery, find a new home. And a lot of people ask, so what do I use this for? And I don't care. No care. I'm okay with anything it becomes. Like anybody, if you wanna put the sake drink or coffee drink or some plants or put the jewelry, nuts, I don't really have preference. Whatever you wanna use for my pottery.
Mhm.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to put the name to sell. It just has to have the name.
Sure.
I wish I can put like, oh, blue one. And then you decide the purpose, what do you use? Like, especially when I strongly feel this is when I make a lidded jar.
Mhm.
Even the lidded jar is small or large, they have their own needs to put. Something you want to hide, or always have candies. So could be pickles, could be onion, or could be very important pets ash inside. Or
Mm.
very recently, someone approached me said, "Your jewelry box is good," and I don't make jewelry box. Are you talking about me? And then she said, "Oh, this one, this one." Well, it's too small and round bottom. So I thought
Mhm.
like, it's not, I wouldn't put jewelry, but if you want to put jewelry, yeah, go ahead. I'm honored, honored too. So, um, yeah, so the jump the story from feet, but yes, I,
Yeah, because it sounds like you want people to use them and love them and when in whatever capacity
yes, yes.
that is. Um, so one of our guests, Barbara, said that you have very elegant yet playful work.
Thank you.
I agree. Um, so I'm going to go back to my questions here. And you spoke up a little bit about this, but when you think about your artistic practice, like when you go into your studio, are you thinking, today I'm going to make 4 mugs, or do you kind of go in there and just feel and just sort of let the clay, take you? Do you have like a plan, or is it a little bit more free flowing?
I was thinking about that. I'm in a middle. For
Mm-hmm.
example, as a being potter, you of course has a order too. So always those order, what I have to make is here, and then what I want to make is this side. And I wake up and anything you start making, you have to start wedging clay. So open up the clay bag and then you cut with wires. I have wires like this.
Mm-hmm.
You just cut it. It's like cream cheese cutting and then take it. And you have to wedge that because makes the consistency equal. So I have, for example, cut and that's like 1 pound of clay and you wedge it on a plaster surface. And or if it's a large ball like this, I have to have like 3 pounds or 4 pounds of clay, which will be about this. So it depends. When I wake up and drink coffee and come to the studio and touch especially now, touch the cold clay. Oh, it's so cold. And even I have a gas heater, you can see on the image, doesn't heat up my clay or bucket of water. So um, when I feel really energetic, not have a good sleep, I cut a large chunk and start wedging the large piece. That goes to the large parts that I can throw. So immediately I feel, oh, okay, I can go for this. And I used to make a ball first, same size of ball. Then now I get tired by just wedging. I feel like I'm half a day's done. I was so tired of the shoulders. Just so these days I just make one and I throw pots. That's very relaxing moment. So after I make that, the pots needs to be dry. So you just let it out, then go back and wedge another clay. So, but very recently if I made a large, I can go large about 5 of them. And then that day will be making 5 large balls. Or sometime I come in and I'm just so tired. Couldn't sleep last night with like too hot in the heat. That was too hot, too dry. So came in studio. I just can't wedge large piece, and then start a little ball. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna make a cup today, this size cup, or this size cup for today. And I often make, if small, it doesn't hurt my elbows and shoulder. So I make like 12 balls or 20 balls at once. Then go back throwing and start throwing, and then try to make a set. Height is the same, width is the same. Yeah. So how I do that.
I love that. So you're letting your body and mind kind of help drive some of those choices depending on how you feel that day. I took ceramic in high school. It's been quite some time since I've worked with clay, but I do remember it's a very physical art, like moving these large pieces of clay around, or your hands getting wet. And I remember the smell of
Yes.
the
They're
clay studio.
moldy, sandy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's very familiar. I kind of love it. So, and you've touched on this in a few different ways, but can you tell us what stimulates your creativity, and how do you remain inspired? Like, do you go visit art museums or go out in nature, or there are other areas of the world that sort of inspire your practice?
So you say I had different answer already, but right now, my mental states of being happy, that goes inspire my making work a lot. Like I have to have energy to make, like happy energy. So that makes what I keep the happy energy is keep the routine. For example, wake up and have the same favorite tea from favorite view, or I stick with my schedule. What I eat too, I always eat a toast, and then just to change what you put on the top. But I don't. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that. It's just distraction came in. Oh, okay. So at the same time, I do when I think, like stopped ideas. Sometimes I do. If every day and I get bored of form, I like web browsing and always type pottery, handmade pottery, or just pottery, any culture. I just keep going, and going, and I store the image. I store what I like. It just doesn't matter. I fell in love things. I love this, and keep it. And as I have a collection, I think this is very important to know what I am attracted to, what form, what shape, what color combination, and why is almost every day I'm thinking. I look at this, why I like this, what part I like this, what color, why. And so that is storing me. And then of course, sometimes I meet something really excites me. And also, I have a lot of other pottery in my kitchen cabinet. It's floating now. Sometimes often I have to stack all mugs because they don't fit inside. And then I talk to other artists too. I have too many mugs. What do I do? And then every day different one I'm choosing using. And my friend said she rotate when you store in a bag, you don't use it for like 1 month. So
Mhm.
you have to flip it. What you usually use, they go to the back and then they'll invite the back pottery into the front. So then you think of sometimes the friends work. So I like think about her or he, and also the artist I don't know, but I bought from art fair. Think about that day I walked around. So, and then also like you, Katrina, you mentioned the museum.
Mhm.
I don't usually go to museum, but when I have a chance, in a city to visit and there is a museum, I go with my husband to walk around, and especially, of course, the favorite part is the pottery place, like European Chinas to Asian Chinas to. I like walking around it.
That's lovely. I love thinking about um, the memories that are being held in these mugs and in these pieces that you have in your home, and how those are kind of, when you touch them or use them, that's bringing you back to that person who made it or the place that
Yes.
you bought it. I think it's really special. We have a question from our audience.
Okay, thank you.
They wanted to know, how do you approach commissioned work?
I tried a couple times in the past. The reason I don't open commission to all buyers like
Mhm.
24/7, because pottery is tricky. When I plan to make it, but 1 of 10 will come out not so good. And also even electric kiln, the glaze I choose, I want to show you the old glaze. This is just a little part of glaze I have, like here. It's not so many here. I have more in the colors. So, so those not always comes out the same color. If the thickness is thin and then like a little more layers, it comes out, for example, pink and purple, or light blue and dark blue. It's the pottery doesn't come out the way. So far, I never perfectly manage that makes the same work. So hard thing is we talked time to time, like my art professor or the friends, that number one is the color, the glaze doesn't come out the same. And then number two is a plate is tricky, because plate has an angle, and then it's just a little tiny thing, doesn't make sense anymore. So it was size is fine, but the angle, so with a lot of reason, and taking commission is quite stressful, because you don't know if it will come out the way I planned. So I want to make a commission, and I do sometimes, or I already have fired like a bisque fire. Then people come in, like they find it. Do you fire it? That color? Can you make it blue instead of green? Or then I said, yeah, I'll try, and then I'll fire green, like you said, and if comes out right, I can sell it to you. Because sometimes it has air pockets, sometimes very rarely cracks, or
Sure.
the kiln shelves, the any debris or whatever drops and have a part. So I like sell the finished product.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. When you were talking about this, my partner is a baker, and he'll talk about sometimes how, if the humidity in the air changes, or if the barometric pressure changes, how that can affect the baking. And so even if you've done this recipe a number of times, there's just the atmosphere around you can make these changes, and it's hard to get that same um, just that same product, every time.
Yes, it's similar. It's very tricky, little, but I heard that too. The baker who worked at the bakery, they
Mhm.
said, "Oh, bread is so tricky. The rising or size or wetness." Yes, I heard that's much hard work.
Well, it's about time to wrap up. Have just been sort of lost in this conversation, because I've been
Oh,
enjoying so much
okay.
speaking with you and just hearing these beautiful stories and learning more about your work. I just want to honor everyone's time, especially if they're taking a lunch hour from work. So we obviously have some of your beautiful pottery at our gallery. Um, where can our guests find you? Will you be showing at any art fairs, or do you have a website that you'd like to share?
Yes. I have a work for years at the Lansing Gallery. Thank you. In
You're
Lansing
welcome.
downtown. And also there's a new gallery opened, I think that was last April.
Mhm.
The Nelson Gallery opened in neighborhood. And I also have a marketplace in Ann Arbor called El Harissa Marketplace. They have quite a lot of my pottery too. And I have Etsy store. If you search with Curly Eye, CURLYAI, is when you go Etsy.com,
Mhm.
or I think a lot of people knows Etsy's.
Oh, of course,
Or, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
and
we're,
then
we're
just
big
type
fans.
Kali Eye. The name Kali Eye is I used to when I was 20 age. I had a perm and had a strong curly hair. It was
Oh,
I always wanted to have the because I was born with straight and I want to have curly hair. So kind of round curly hair, and I love this so much. That time I made that couple of email address, and you have to have something funny. So I use the word Kali, and then my name AI, so Kali
gotcha.
Eye. So
So
that's my
cute.
Etsy store, Kali Eye's home studio. And then I use for a lot of things. Kali Eyes has been my stick with me. Oh,
Perfect.
and that's all and the Instagram is AIY Ceramics is
Gotcha.
my Instagram. So
Perfect.
I put, yes,
Perfect.
thank
So
you.
will everyone please follow on Instagram, and we have I's work available for purchase both online at our gallery and in store, and then of course at some other local galleries. Um, Thank you again all so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure having you. Michelle, did you want to say a few words before we wrap up?
Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you, for sharing. I really enjoyed learning about your process and seeing you in your studio. It was very interesting. We'll be, as I said, sharing this recording, and we'll be back next month for another Brown Bag Lunch Artist Talk. So watch out for information about that in your email. So thanks everyone for coming, and we hope to see you again soon.
Can I say one? Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I,
Go ahead.
just one word. Thank you for all the people sit with me today, and also all the friends. Some friends are outside of Michigan or outside of a country even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I appreciate to sit with me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.